is INCRadio DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Ready? Focus. Lock in. Buckle down. From the Great Lakes to all corners of the globe, let your passions shine with purpose in your zone. Everyone, welcome to the last episode of In Your Zone for the year 2025. I'm your host, Ariel Romero from the local congregation of Bloomingdale in the District of Great Lakes. So we're so glad that you have been with us throughout this year and for this broadcast today, again, where we get to share the interests, hobbies, and passions of our brethren here in the District of Great Lakes. And I'm so excited for this topic today, although it's not possibly weather appropriate because it's like winter here in Chicago and it could get pretty cold at times, so maybe not appropriate for the time right now. But if you're planning for advance, we'll say, if to get a head start into 2026, if you want to pursue a new hobby, a new interest, then I'm pretty sure you're going to be interested in what we're talking about today in our discussion. As you see, we have myself, Elsam, and our guest from the local congregation of Park Ridge. I'll allow him to introduce himself. So welcome to In Your Zone.
Hello, everybody. I'm Brother Lewis from the local of Park Ridge. So go ahead and ask away.
So for those who see the title of our broadcast, and down below, you're also able to see that we're going to be talking about electric vehicles and how Lewis here kind of took his passion, his hobby, a step up into creating or into owning his own shop. But let's go back to the beginning. So I mean, I don't know if it was just like me or like every other child when they were young. Like, you learn how to ride a bike or a scooter or rollerblades, whatever you have, at a young age. But how did that happen for you? Were you also like just introduced to your bike, like just a regular bicycle with the training wheels when you were little?
Well, yeah, I mean, like all of us, we learned how to ride a bike at a young age, and we used to commute to school or wherever we needed to go from house to house or whatever throughout the neighborhood. So I was always that way, riding my bikes through the neighborhood. Through college, actually, I had one of those road bikes, as they call them, with the skinny tires and the drop-down handlebars, and that's how I would commute. I didn't have a car when I was in college, so that's how I would go to school. About probably 7 miles, I would go back and forth. Nice riding. I was always into riding my bicycle. It's a form of, I guess you could say, transportation and also meditation.
Oh, nice. I do like when I see others, recording their bike rides, like nowadays, right? You see everyone like even posting like their routes, like where they're going, like they go through like picturesque like neighborhoods and parks and things like that. It's very cool to see like how they do that. And but for you, like, obviously we're talking about electric vehicles also, so eventually you came the time to upgrade. Right? So how were you first introduced to electric vehicles?
Yeah, so one of our friends had a scooter he was selling for $400, and I Googled the scooter and I saw on Amazon that scooter was going for $900, so I scooped it up. Like, it was just a deal. So let's go see what this deal is about. Got into that scooter, and it really was a $400 scooter. I got used to it very quickly. And I remember a time where I needed to upgrade from it pretty much after 2 weeks. I went on the trail over here by the lake. It's called the Lakefront Trail in Chicago, right by the lake. and a bunch of bicyclists wearing their tight shorts and drop down handlebars passed me, and I was on my scooter trying to push it like as if I was going to be able to catch up to him. I knew it was time for an upgrade. Probably the same day, I went on the internet and bought my first high-powered scooter. That's what got me into the journey.
Okay, so kind of a need to be better than everyone else in a sense.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I was always the guy because I was also one of those guys on the bicycles with the road bikes.
Yeah.
And I would time myself from going to Foster Beach all the way to North Avenue Beach, and I would try to beat myself. And then, of course, my time has lost. So, like I lost my time. I wasn't as quick. I wanted to get back to it.
But let's see. From the scooter, I mean, we could kind of see behind you, like, it's not just scooters that you have. What other
Absolutely.
vehicles did you get along the way?
So I retired from riding scooters. Scooters to me are kind of sketchy. To me.
Oh.
Because what I prefer is single-wheeled devices that are self-balancing. I prefer something called a one-wheel, and I prefer an electric unicycle over anything else. Those are my modes of transportations. Now,
I have not seen one until
Yeah.
before our broadcast. You were just showing us
Okay,
what
great,
it
yeah.
looks like, and maybe we'll be able to show everyone as this plays on everyone's screens to see what it looks like, and
Sure, yeah.
using your electric unicycle. But
Yes.
how did you find that? Why a unicycle? Yeah, I'm really curious.
Okay, so another need to upgrade. I was on a trail close to my house, like a forest trail, and I had my high-powered scooter that I was always tinkering away with. And I'm doing turns on the trails, and then somebody came up from behind me.
Oh, yeah.
And
dangerous.
then, but I was going slow. I was acting like, a casual rider. And then he passed me. So I kind of wanted to catch up, but I couldn't catch him because he was just taking these turns like so quick. So
Yeah.
he's taking turns so quick. And for me to commit that speed on a scooter you're going to have to really turn hard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So he ended up waiting for me. And then we met up, and he told me about an electric unicycle, and I kind of dove down the rabbit hole.
I mean, in itself, like, just the term electric unicycle just sounds intriguing already. So,
Yes, yeah.
and I'm sure you
It
fell
is.
in love with that right away.
Good.
But I guess over...
It's a journey.
Oh, it is? Yeah. Quite
It's been a journey.
Nice. So, I mean, like, over time, like, you've had unicycles, bicycles, electric scooters, right? But you've also used, mechanical ones, like, of course, like when we were younger, bicycles, scooters. Why choose an electric vehicle over the mechanical? What are the benefits to using or owning one?
The benefits to owning an electric vehicle is number one, you're quicker, faster. You can, for example, you can go on a trail and bike that trail for 2 hours to go front and back. I can do that trail in 30 minutes, and I enjoyed the whole view. I mean, and you're back for lunch, with no sweat. It's really about the views. It's really about going to different places that you wouldn't naturally go to. Why would I even choose it over driving? To be honest with you, I choose it over driving because I can go places that you wouldn't normally go to. For example, I would go to Millennium Park. I would go to the Sox Stadium. I would go to the Cubs Stadium, and then I would go to Northwestern on the same day. If you were driving, you're just doing
You're
one
stuck
of those destinations and finding parking.
I was gonna say, yeah, you're finding parking or you're stuck in traffic. That's
Exactly. So we have those lakefront trails. We have the bike trails. The city of Chicago is pretty good at providing bicycle trails, routes for the bicyclists. We usually travel on those bicycle routes.
Okay.
So yeah, that's why I would prefer it over actually anything. Bicycle, manual bicycle versus even driving. I would prefer my electric vehicles.
Speaking of, because you did mention a little bit in your tale of traveling through the city that, if also I can assume correctly, you're not by yourself taking these trips. Maybe sometimes you are, but how many? You brought
I
people
like
with
to
you, huh?
personally ride by myself
Okay.
as a form of you don't have to pay attention to anybody else
Sure.
but yourself. You're just riding.
Fair.
That's just my own form, and that's just because I'm usually commuting.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But there are big group rides throughout the city. I'm part of them. Actually, speaking about those group rides and the communities in the city. When I first started riding a unicycle, I was one of four in Chicago that I know of.
104.
One of four.
Wow.
We all got together, formed a crew.
Mm-hmm.
Back in, I don't know, I think that was in 22, 21 or 22.
Okay.
From that crew, I kind of grew in love with the community as it continued to progress. And as it continued to progress, I kind of wanted to serve the community. And knowing so, there was nobody to serve the community. There was a lot of riders, but nobody knew how to change their brakes, and which are common things.
Okay. Alright, so I guess, well, what we're getting into the next part of the discussion, you took it upon yourself to
Yeah, I'm sorry.
start this. It's okay. I mean, it's good that you acknowledged it right away and you felt the need to help your community, and so you established your shop, right? And did this start around 21, 22? How did that begin?
22 was actual, April of 22 was my first grand opening.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Pretty much built the shop with my bare hands. Like literally, it was a dungeon with the ceiling was falling apart. Like the lights were like dangling. I'm telling you, it was a dungeon, and it took me 6 months to build it. But I built pretty much with my own two hands, with the help of some people guiding me along the way.
Really?
Yeah, it was a journey.
Okay. And how did it? What were you doing? I guess first at the shop, and how did it grow to what it is today?
What was I doing first at the shop was trying to figure it out. Really, to be honest with you, it's kind of not something that you can Google to how to open a electric vehicle repair shop.
Yeah.
It's kind of it's one of those things where you kind of just have to go for it and then figure it out along the way.
Right.
And that was really, and it was a lot of figuring it out, and not easily figuring it out, but it's still figuring it out, one step in front of the other.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you mentioned that it was like a lot of trial and error when
Sure.
when it was with your first electric vehicle, right? But imagine now customers coming to you,
Sure.
asking, and I'm sure you're learning about all these new models over time and trying to do your own research, and probably a bit frustrating, right? Especially because it is something brand new to you. Like, you hadn't taken any like official like courses with like electrical work or things like that. But so what do you do now in your shop?
What do I do now? I am more of a orchestrator.
Okay.
I kind of match the project to my mechanics. I make deals. I kind of just run the shop pretty much.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, like
you can say I do it everything. Honestly, I mean I do everything. But I'm trying to move my position from doing the everyday tasks to actually growing the shop tasks.
okay, expanding. I like that. So, what kind of, I guess, services? I mean, I assume repair, obviously.
Sure.
But like, do you provide any other services at your shop?
As in services, we do provide lessons like you were talking about earlier. I teach people how to ride unicycles. I teach people how to ride one wheels. I even teach people how to ride scooters properly. People think that they can just get on a scooter, but a lot of the people that I see riding scooters are riding incorrectly. So we do teach them prior to them leaving. I'll even repair something for a scooter for a person, and they don't really even know how to ride, to be honest. And as they're going, I'll teach them some regular what to be looking out for, how to ride on the streets, kind of thing, tips and pointers, kind of stuff.
Okay. While it's fresh in my mind, because you mentioned riding a scooter incorrectly. I didn't
Sure.
realize there was a thing as riding a
Sure.
scooter incorrectly. What
Yeah,
do
so
people do? That's weird.
an incorrect way to ride your scooter is with your feet together, pointing forward, and then having
Okay.
straight up. And then some people it looks comfortable, but it's you're not ready for any kind of transitions in the road.
Ah.
And then they'll also lock their knees so that their knees are straight up, and that kind of like if you hit a bump, for example, and it'll catapult you if you're not ready to shock absorb.
Okay. So, if I get this right, you don't want your feet like, I guess, straight up.
You don't want your feet like this.
Okay.
You
On
want
the
your
same.
feet more of a staggered position.
Okay.
You want to be able to like it kind of gives you a better base when you're almost sideways
Okay.
compared to when your feet are together. And then
Makes
you
more
want to
sense.
kind of stabilize yourself a little bit by putting your feet apart, not together.
Okay. I was thinking about it, like being the like mathematical brain that I have. Like you kind of cover like a bit more surface area when you
Sure.
when you're
Exactly that. You're
riding.
covering more
You have a
surface
bigger
area.
base. Yeah.
And then I always remind people to keep their knees loose,
Yes.
meaning like don't lock your knees, so that if anything, your knees will be your shock absorber.
There you go. Very nice. Okay. Good to know. There's also I'm trying to think what else. You cater to customers of, I'm sure, all ages, those who haven't even, like ridden an electric vehicle for the first time, right? So like
Hmm.
what is it that you like tell them when, they're like interested in learning more about, like, oh, I want to buy an electric bicycle. Maybe we can start with a bicycle because maybe like when we were
The
discussing
transition
before.
on a bicycle is a lot easier because
Yeah.
you're already riding a bicycle. Now you have a bicycle with a throttle. But there
Okay.
are a lot of differences from when you have a regular bicycle to when you have an electric bicycle.
Mm-hmm.
One of the differences within models, of course, one of the differences is called pedal assist. So when you're riding a bicycle, regular bicycle, and you're doing this,
Mm-hmm.
when you have that cadence on an electric bicycle, when you're pushing, let's say 2 out of 10 with your effort, 2 out of 10, the bicycle's moving. The bicycle's probably hitting 25, 30 miles an hour, and you're just
Oh wow.
barely touching it. And then there's other bicycles like my friends that have just throttles, just like motorcycles, just straight throttles
Okay.
with no pedals. They even what they do is do the pedal delete where it doesn't even have pedals, and they'll put pegs and they'll just go straight on like a motorcycle. I have a lot of clients, and even the person, one of my partners in the shop, has a bike just like that.
Oh, okay. It's very intriguing. That's nice that it caters to, if you don't want to, I guess, less effort to even less effort, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Um, now I'm thinking about like, what about for like the younger, or like, I'm sure you have like children or like who are also interested. Do you also introduce is the bicycle the first step, the first bike that they should look at, or do you recommend like even going to like a scooter or?
Oh, I
what's
mean,
your
like, you should see some of these kids. They start off on these little power wheels. I
Mhm.
mean, that's an electric vehicle, and they just keep upgrading from there. I've seen some parents, their child is like 6 years old, and they have like a dirt bike, electric dirt bikes, and they're just
Okay.
ripping around. So, yeah, I mean, it goes from whatever age, and there are varieties of like power. So you wouldn't want to give a kid like full power 72 volt 80-mile-an-hour bike.
Right.
So, but there are kid friendly bikes out there.
Okay. And you did mention, like dirt bikes. I assume with electric bikes, there's ones more catered for, I guess, to call it off-roading in a sense. But
Sure.
like dirt bikes, there's also ones for like pavement in the city. What types of electric bikes? And if you want to expand to like other vehicles, what types of models are there out there?
They vary. I guess you can say that the beginner model or the cheaper models, like the models that you would probably find easily on Amazon,
Yeah.
they look like mountain bikes, but they have a battery attached to them. Those are like the introduction models. They
Okay.
look like bicycles with a battery, literally a bulge in the middle of them.
Okay.
And then it goes all the way to big fat tire bikes, like I guess you can ride those on the actual sand. It's that fat
Oh wow.
tires. And
Okay.
then they have other ones that are they're called Surons that literally look like a dirt bike, probably 70 mile an hour dirt bikes. That's all electric. And then, yeah, it really varies from intermediary to advanced levels. And some of them, let's say on the price wise, some of them they can go from like $200 to like $10,000 and up.
Wow.
I mean, it depends on what you're getting. So it's really a big gap of what you're getting.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, the price really. Well, I mean, I guess that makes sense, but I'm sure with the price there was a lot of maintenance that
Sure.
you have to do. I'm sure that there are those who are looking at electric vehicles who may be able to do some maintenance on their own, or do they have to go to the shop for all the maintenance? Is there any maintenance they can do at home? Like what?
Maintenance. Okay.
Yeah.
So regarding bicycles, like say e-bikes, the
Yeah.
regular maintenance is more like a bicycle maintenance.
Okay.
That's the general case scenario.
Okay.
One of the things that I would always be mindful of
Yeah.
is number one, don't get your vehicle wet. It is still an electronic device. It's not made to ride in the water and rain. Although the IP ratings, whatever, I still see IP ratings in my shop. So, I mean, they still do get wet. I mean, there are case scenarios. Number two, I would always remind them about battery maintenance. Regarding battery maintenance, one of the things that they have to be aware of is not to leave their batteries charged all the time.
Okay. Makes sense.
It's a big deal, actually. What's happening is that these bikes or these batteries are going through charge cycles, and you leave them onto the charger. What's happening is it goes from 100% and then it goes to 99%, and it just keeps kicking the charger to keep trickling it. What's going to happen eventually is there's something called the battery management system is going to get confused and pretty much render that $2,000 battery obsolete because you just left it plugged in for 6 months. What I generally tell people, if they're going to not use it, say for example in December, and they're not going to use it for a few months, to leave their batteries at like 60%. Leaving it at 60%, the battery is at a comfortable state. It's not at 100%, it's not at zero. You don't want to leave your battery at 100%. It's kind of like doing this with your muscle. You just like strained. It wants to do something,
Yeah.
but it's all that potential energy and nowhere to go. So it can deteriorate the battery. So 60% is the general idea, and then just keep an eye on it through those months that you're not using it.
It's good to now I'm like kind of feeling a little guilty, like checking my phone right now because I feel so bad leaving my phone charged all the time. It's the same
Yes,
way of
yeah.
thinking, right? Oh man, now I have to check all my electronic appliances now after this. But I guess last words of advice that you have for anyone who wants to learn more about electric vehicles, wanting to own maybe an electric scooter if they're not ready for the bike yet. Anything you want to add?
Well, if you want to learn, it's always good to learn. You can come by over at It's Electric Chicago. I'm here to help everybody. I want the community to grow. And number two, while we grow together, I don't necessarily, let's say, for example, I didn't get into riding because of just to ride. I got into riding as a form of meditation, let's say. And the reason why I really started to get into riding these vehicles is because during the COVID time, I was really stressed out. I was actually a nurse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so during that COVID time, I got really stressed out, and I needed a form of meditation,
Yeah.
some form of relaxation
Yeah.
other than what the world can usually show me.
Right.
Driving is stressful, going to places is stressful, but these vehicles, I can go through the park, I can enjoy the scenery and not have to struggle on my way back. Usually the case is. So that's what really got me into all of that. Come see us. I'm always here to teach, and I'm always doing my best to give some good advice to make sure that everybody is riding safely.
Glad to hear that, Anna. Also, I think maybe it's time for us to to stop by. I mean,
Yeah.
with the weather being,
Yeah.
I think
So
we're on
we're
the
still
upswing
building
right now.
walls right now, so it's a perfect time
There
to
you
be
go.
building walls during the winter time.
I love that. All right, Elsa, I don't know what you think. Is it time that we make a stop there soon?
I'm sorry. Like, I'm just gonna say this about
Yeah.
bikes. I guess earlier I was thinking about like you're moving the pedal of like an electric bike. It's like at some point that has to be like just a motorcycle.
It really is. It really is, and it's not that we're doing it for exercise. To be honest, I'm not riding my electric unicycle for exercise. I'm trying to get from A to Z, and that's really what it's about. That's really what it's about.
I guess but I gotta say I'm like hardcore on like just staying on like a pedal bike. But I will say I was laughing earlier when you say you don't have to struggle going back. That is like one of the
Think about me while you're going up that hill, and I'm
Oh
just
yeah, definitely.
maybe that's what will push me to get an electric bike. Yes, God, thank you, Luis, for joining us
yes.
today.
Thank you
And
so much, guys.
and we do want to say, we want to greet Park Ridge as well in general, because you guys
Thank you,
are
guys.
celebrating. Yeah, you're celebrating your 25 years anniversary on
Yeah.
December 29th.
Yes.
That'll be tomorrow, like from like this time. Yeah, that'll be tomorrow. So, but before we do end, we want to say thank you as well to the people who make our show possible. First off, to our district ministers here in Great Lakes, Brother Arthur P. Agan, our Assistant District Minister, and Brother Elmer A. Sarmiento, our District Minister, and of course, a very special thanks as well to Brother Juan Taray, our INCRadio Station Manager, to Brother Angelo Uranifi Manalo, our Deputy Executive Minister, most importantly to Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, our Executive Minister. Thank you for making shows like ours possible. And before we close off this episode, and I would say our last episode of the year, we want to remind everyone in your zone is where you shine the brightest. And we do hope to see you again next year. Well, not actually next year, but in the next
The week after.
I'll see you guys. Have fun. Have a great New Year's. And hope to see you all again next week.